everyone, Jennifer here, back with another of my top favorite countdowns. And this is a Halloween special edition of my top favorite Halloween type movies. Okay, there are a lot of great movies out there, and many of them can kind of be classified as a Halloween type movie, which means they have aspects to it that can make them appropriate to watch during the Halloween season. Now, this list will actually count down my top 10 favorite Halloween type movies. Please keep in mind, though, that many of these movies will not expressly be Halloween movies, but all of them will have the feel of a Halloween movie. Up first, number 10, The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas makes number 10 on this list because I don't really know how to classify it. Is it an everyday movie? Is it a Halloween movie? Or is it a Christmas movie? It does have the aspects of both of Halloween in it, which can make you classify it as a Halloween movie. But it also has the aspects of Christmas in it, which can make you want to classify it as a Christmas movie. Or you can just throw caution to the wind and call it an everyday movie if you want to. Me personally, I tend to watch this movie more starting in October, and will continue watching it through November and December, just so I'm covering all my bases. Number 9, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This movie is one I grew up watching as a kid, and I still love watching it now. To me, it's one of those movies that it's not Halloween until I actually see it. And there are a few movies that are like that. Now, this is probably the first movie in this countdown that can be expressly classified as a Halloween movie, as it does take place on Halloween night. And this is, if you couldn't tell by the last two words in the title, this is a Charlie Brown or a Peanuts movie. So it has Charlie Brown, his sister Sally, and their friends, Lucy, Linus, Schroeder, Peppermint Patty, Marcy, Pigpen, and of course Snoopy as well. I don't know if Woodstock's in this movie or not, but Snoopy is as the Red Baron, which if any of you have seen Snoopy as the Red Baron, or the flying ace that takes on the Red Baron, excuse me, you know that it's pretty cute. It's kind of a recurring theme within the Peanuts thing, where Snoopy is in his aviator costume on his doghouse, pretending to fly and try to shoot down the Red Baron. And it's a real cute movie. It's not overtly scary. It's something little kids can watch and have fun with. So, and again, it's a movie I grew up watching and I still like to watch. Number 8, Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation. Okay, this was among the movies I did, I think, last year for Frighttober. And this is actually my favorite of the Hotel Transylvania movies. With the exception of the fourth one, because I have not yet seen that one. But of the three I've seen, this is my favorite one. And this is just really cute, an adorable little movie. It follows up on the other two. And what I like about it is that while we start out and finish, well, we don't actually start out, but pretty much close to, start out and finish at Hotel Transylvania, or Dracula's Hotel, the majority of the movie is actually on a cruise ship, which is a nice separation, where the TV show and the first movie, particularly the first movie, and the second movie, more or less revolved around the hotel. I mean, the second movie, yes, one could argue they weren't expressly at the hotel throughout the entire movie, but pretty close to it. This one, the bulk of the movie was actually away from the hotel, which is probably why it's one of my favorites. Or why it is my favorite of the Hotel Transylvania movies. Number 7, Red Riding Hood. Okay, now this, you would say, why is this on your list? Well, number one, this is not like the fairy tale. It is, but it isn't. This is more of an adult version of Red Riding Hood, which is more true, I believe, to the stories. It is a little dark. There is mention of magic, dark magic and whatnot in it. And there's a werewolf. The big bad wolf is a werewolf. So to me, that classifies this as a Halloween movie because it does have a werewolf in it, and it does have some dark aspects to it as well. It is not, I don't believe it's rated R. I think it's rated PG-13. But I would actually rate it a very high PG-13 just because there is some gore and violence in it. But still, despite all that, I do love it. It is a very good movie. It's probably one of the higher rated movies, very close to rated R movies I actually will watch. But it is still a very good movie. Number 6 is The Brothers Grimm. This movie is very much like Little Red Riding Hood. It has some very dark aspects to it and can get a little violent at times, but still a very good movie. It follows the Brothers Grimm, who are the brothers who wrote all the classic fairy tales, Snow White, Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, and what the actual Brothers Grimm actually did was they collected folk stories from different areas in the region, and they wrote them down as children's stories. And those stories have been the basis of many movies that we see. Now, this is actually somewhat of has a little bit of a dark undertone to it. There is a curse. There is a shape-shifting wolf, which is very cool. I've seen better, but he's still very cool. And there's a lot of things in the movie that would make me classify it as a Halloween-type movie. But still, I do like it. It's a fairly interesting movie, and it does have aspects in it that are not strictly, or stories in it that are not strictly Brothers Grimm stories. You see other well-known stories brought into this as well that aren't expressly one of theirs. But it's still a very good movie for the most part. Number 5 is Paranorman. This was among my first Frighttober movies, even though it wasn't listed as Frighttober. And I like this movie because it is stop motion, and it does follow a kid who was deemed different from everyone else because he could see spirits. But in the end, he was the one who alone could actually save his town from the wrath of a witch. And it is a very adorable movie. I watch it every year for Halloween. It's not one of those movies like The Great Pumpkin where it doesn't feel like Halloween until I see it, but I do enjoy watching it every Halloween. And it's not expressly a Halloween movie. It doesn't take place at Halloween, but it does have a witch, a ghost, and zombies in it, which to me kind of classify it as a Halloween movie. Okay, number 4 is Spooky Buddies. Again, this was among my first Halloween or Frighttober movies. And this falls into the Air Bud movie franchise, and this follows the adventures of his 5 puppies, Rosebud, Mudbud, Buddha, Butterball, and B-Dog. And this is their 4th or 5th movie, and I believe it's their 2nd holiday movie. And it's either their 2nd or their 1st, I can't remember. And this one is expressly Halloween. It does take place on Halloween night, and it's very adorable. It's Disney, so it's not expressly scary. It does have a ghost in it, but the ghost is not scary at all. And it does involve a curse, a wizard, and a creature known as the Halloween Hound. And this is strictly a Halloween movie. Well, you can watch it anytime of the year if you want to. I would almost say this is more of it's strictly Halloween. It should only be seen at Halloween time because it does take place on Halloween. But again, it's very cute, very adorable. It's got puppies in it. How can it not be cute and adorable? And it's Disney. But again, that's my number 5 pick. Number 3 is The Halloween That Almost Wasn't. Again, this is a movie I watched a lot, or every year as a kid, and I still watch it now. It is very cute. It's got monsters in it, but they're not scary monsters because this is strictly a kiddie Halloween movie. Again, I believe I did a review on this last year or maybe the year before. It was a fairly recent Frighttober. I just can't remember if it was 2019 or 2020. And it's very adorable. It's very cute. And again, there are monsters in it. There is Dracula, there is a witch, there is a werewolf, there is Frankenstein's creature, there is a mummy, there is a zombie, there is Igor, but they're not scary. They're actually very cute and funny, and, well, I don't want to say cute, but they're very funny. They're not scary at all. Dracula's probably the scariest one in there, and he's not even scary. And it shows monsters in a different light. And again, it's very little kiddish. It's not meant to be scary. And you do get a little history on the origins of Halloween in it too. So, hey, it's educational as well. Number 2 is Van Helsing. Again, much like Paranorman and Spooky Buddies, Van Helsing was among my first Frighttober movies, even though it wasn't listed as Frighttober at the time. Van Helsing gets a lot of points for it being that made it number 2. Number 1, I loved the actual concept of the movie. It was very, very cool. And it combined several classic monster movie characters. Dracula, Frankenstein's creature, and werewolves. And also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at the beginning of the movie. Number 2, I loved the computer animation they did for the werewolves and the vampires and whatnot. I thought it was very cool. It looked very seamless. You knew it was computer animated, but it didn't look computer animated. So it was very good. Number 3, I loved the story. The story was like amazing. It was just so good. And probably the biggest thing that gives it a lot of bonus points, in my opinion, is that one of my favorite actors in the world, Hugh Jackman, actually has the lead role in the movie. He plays Van Helsing, which, that just gave it like, if all the others gave it like 1 to 5 points each, that one, the fact that it was one of my favorite actors, actually played the title role in the movie, just gave it like an extra 100 points. Not quite enough to get number 1, but it's still very high on the list. It's only one number away from the number 1 slot, which is pretty good. But it is one of my favorite movies. It's not per se a Halloween movie, despite the fact that it has creatures in it that you associate with Halloween. But it has that Halloween feel to it, like many of the movies on this list do. And like many of my Frighttober movies do. You'll notice probably some of the movies I did reviews on were actually Frighttober movies. And this one is just amazing. I love it. But if I talk any more about what I loved about it, this will turn more into a movie talk video than a top favorite countdown. Okay, before we move on to my number 1 favorite Halloween type movie, I just wanted to do an honorable mention. I have 2. The first one is the Monster High movies. It got an honorable mention because I couldn't pick just one. I love all the Monster High movies, or at least all the Monster High movies I've seen. They're amazing, they're cute, they're adorable. I love the books as well, and the little web series they did, and I'm very excited that there is the possibility of them doing a live-action Monster High movie, which I bet will be really cool, and a TV series that's coming out. So, you know, Forever is doing those free publicity right here. My other honorable mention is the fourth Alpha and Omega movie, The Legend of Sawtooth Kate. Again, that's not strictly a Halloween movie per se, but it does have a ghost in it, and it is a little spooky, but fun spooky, because the Alpha and Omega movies are more family kid orientated. So while it's spooky, it's not like scary spooky. It's just more fun spooky. So that does relegate, in my opinion, it as a Halloween type movie. Okay, and my number one favorite Halloween type movie is Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Okay, like It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and The Halloween That Almost Wasn't, this is a movie I would watch every year as a kid, and I still watch now. Number one, I love Garfield. Who cannot love Garfield? He is funny. He is sarcastic. He's a fat cat that likes lasagna. He's just there's so much about Garfield to love. Number two, I do like Halloween movies, provided they're not super duper scary, and this one is not super duper scary. And number three, like any movie that I watched as a kid and that I can watch now, especially like a holiday type movie, is just, for me, really great. And especially now that I have a little niece, movies that I can watch with her are great too. So this movie, Garfield's Halloween Adventure, is one of three holiday movies featuring Garfield. The other two being Garfield's Thanksgiving and A Garfield Christmas. And the DVD I actually have, Garfield's Halloween Adventure, on, also contains those two. So it's a DVD that I can pull out in October and watch straight through till December. I don't watch all three movies starting in October. Of course, I do this one, and then in November I do the other one. I do the Thanksgiving one, and then in December I do the Christmas one. But again, this movie is adorable. It gets a little scary with the pirate ghosts and whatnot, but again, it's not overtly nightmare-ish scary. It's just like creepy fun scary. Like Halloween is. Halloween is just like creepy fun. As Pinkie Pie actually stated in the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode, Nightmare Night, sometimes it's just fun to be scared. And Garfield's Halloween Adventure really makes it fun to be scared. Okay, please leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. Please like or share this video if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already if you're watching on YouTube. And feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respective artists. I own absolutely nothing. And the link for the 4 sites I mentioned will be in the description section if that makes it any easier for you guys to find them. Okay, quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, feel free to check out my other top favorite special editions. my top favorite videos. And my other videos. Okay, before I sign off, a few things I'd like to touch on. First off, YouTube subscribers. Any of my videos that cannot be found on YouTube can be found on my YouTube channel, can be found on my Facebook page. I will have the link for those in the description section. Facebook friends, basically the same deal. Any of my videos that cannot be found on my Facebook page are on my YouTube channel. The link will be in the description section. And to anyone who's interested, you can feel free to check out my Facebook group, Fanfic Corner. The link will be in the description section. Okay, as always, thank you for watching, and have a very happy and safe Halloween.